Well, good day. I'm getting prepared to launch what I call Dharma Sattva, which is a learning, healing, and wholeness project looking to help what seems to be hurting so many in society today. So without ado, if we can get to it, Dharma Sattva, a path to wholeness in an age of fragmentation. We are sick, not just in body, but in mind, in meaning, and in soul. We have stressed ourselves into systemic illness. We live in what I call psychological systemic inflammatory response syndrome, PCERS. We are inflamed in our minds, our mitochondria, our relationships, in ourselves. But there is a path back, not through pills alone or platitudes, but through integration. This is the foundation of Dharma Sattva, a coaching and teaching practice at the intersection of mindfulness that is trauma-informed, philosophy that is lived, not memorized, healing that honors the immune system, inflammation, and the invisible injuries of life, learning systems to help the left behind rise again. I was once able to read a single book. Now I read one a day. I used to live in survival. Now I teach thriving. The path is not easy, but it is real, and it is for anyone willing to become whole. Mind, body, soul, self, other, all. We are only healed when we are whole. We are only whole when we remember to heal ourselves is to help heal the world. Tikkun olam. Join me. The path is not mine alone. It's yours too. It always has been. So, the First Love Manifesto. First love. Not your first love, but the first love. A meta-modern call to heal the self, the body, and the world. We begin with a wound. Most of us were not taught how to love ourselves. We were taught how to please, how to survive, how to disappear. We inherited trauma, not wisdom, stress, not safety. Our bodies learned inflammation. Our minds learned hypervigilance. Our spirits were told self-love was selfish. This was the first lie, and it was spiritual. Against Augustine, love must be learned. Augustine said no one needs to be taught to love themselves. He was wrong. Most people loathe themselves quietly. They serve others, but secretly hate the one serving. They love God, but treat their body like a sin. We must be taught to love properly, without narcissism, without martyrdom, with charity, with presence, with gentleness. Trauma is the hidden religion. Trauma is not just psychological. It is immunological, spiritual, political. It lives in the body as inflammation. It hides in beliefs as shame. It distorts religions, relationships, and revolutions. All therapy, all spiritual work, all real philosophy is an attempt to heal the damage of trauma and to prevent it from ruling the future. The body keeps the score because no one else would. Mind and body are not separate. Inflammation is memory. Autoimmunity is confusion. The body trying to kill the self it was never taught to love. Healing is not mystical. It is measurable. When we teach the body it is safe, the skin clears, the gut restores, the mind slows, the soul returns. Mindfulness must be trauma-informed. Mindfulness, when taught without safety, re-traumatizes. Insight meditation without calm abiding is cruelty. Stillness must be earned, not forced. Before we ask people to awaken, we must teach them how to rest. Shamatha before vipassana. Safety before surrender. So calm abiding before insight meditation. That's what shamatha and vipassana mean. Meta-modern healing is whole. We refuse the binary, science or soul, east or west, faith or reason. We reclaim the middle way, the body, the breath, the brain, the being. This therapy is not modern. It is meta-modern. It weaves ancient wisdom with immune therapy, trauma science with sacred text. The goal is not to transcend the self, but to love it. And to love it so deeply it becomes transparent, and we see through it into others, into God, into the world. The first love is the last healing. We are commanded to love God with all we are, to love our neighbor as ourselves. But without learning to love ourselves first, we will only ever perform the illusion of love. This is not ego, it is resurrection. To love the self rightly is to make it whole enough to carry the divine. This is the anastasis. It's a Greek word that means a change of state, but also a removal from. And in this case, you can change who and what you are from moment to the next. This is the teachings of Buddhism, but it's also psychology. If you stop living as your traumatized child, you can live again and start over again, right? So we believe self-love must be taught, not assumed. Trauma must be healed in the body, not just the mind. Inflammation is the whisper of unresolved pain. Mindfulness without safety is violence. True love is always charitable towards self and others. Healing is holy. The self is sacred. The body is a temple of memory and meaning. We are building a new form of therapy, not just to soothe the broken, but to birth the whole. So thank you for listening, and you probably heard quite a bit of Nietzschean and Jungian and Buddhism, modern psychology, internal family systems, van der Kolk's philosophy, Gabor-Mate, psychedelic science, and it really is about integration and wholeness. And the last thing that I need to remind everyone is it truly is an individual path, in the sense that you have to find your path through all this. But it's never an individual path. Never an individual path. For years I've followed what they call a Pacceka Buddha path, an individual Buddha, or an individual practitioner, but they warn people off of doing this. It's difficult, because without the Sangha, or a community around you, it makes everything more difficult. I've seen this with the Christians. I've seen this with the Hindus and Shaivists. If you don't have a supported community, then you are on your own, and that is the hardest. That makes the hardest journey, the journey within, inside. That makes it exponentially harder. But as the Dhammapada said, it's better to walk the path alone than to walk it with fools, or worse, people that will actually denature your path. And that, I think, is the lesson of the Pacceka Buddha path. Not all, this is the middle way. So absolutely group practice is important, but not too much. Remember that moderation in all things, including moderation. So in this case, remember, too much alone time is bad, but not enough can also be harmful. So it's this balance that we need to find. A madhyamaka in Sanskrit. It's a middle way, which I argue is meta-modernism. Now, forget what some of the kids have been talking about over the last 10 or 20 years. Meta-modernism is simply what should have came about after modernism. Right? When we saw that modernism had left some people behind, then we should have evolved into metamodernism, where we transvalue all things, decide whether the new can replace the old, and decide where the old traditions still guide us better. But out of fear, we transitioned into this postmodern world, which arguably is just fear of the unknown. As Nietzsche said, the only way to carve a new path is to become comfortable with the unknown and the unfamiliar. Right? Uncertainty is the only thing that we can be certain of. Same as in Buddhism, impermanence is the only thing we can be certain of. Until it no longer is. But it's trust. It's trust in your path, Dharma. And that's what produces the confidence, the Sattva. So on that, I'll leave you. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful day.